March 2024 balance patches here. I got like 30 seconds earlier at work to skim over it. I saw that there were some Witcher units buffed. I saw there were some Indra buffs. So I'm excited. Scratch that. I shouldn't be excited. I already regret saying that. I am not excited because I know how these balance patches go. And if I'm excited, I'm going to be disappointed. And if I'm just expecting disappointment from the beginning, then maybe I might find some silver lining in this balance patch. So let's get it started. Oh yeah, I also saw this. Dark Oil, first on the list. Of all of the units that need to be nerfed, the Dark Gargoyle, they were like, no. We took this dummy's advice and we made it start the match in Stone State, and then it wound up being too OP, so they had to nerf it. So now he's got a 50% chance. He's just like everything else in the game. He's got an RNG chance of either being OP or very disappointing, and you don't know what to expect when you get into the match. Like, well, I'm gonna find out soon enough if it's gonna be very useful or just a waste of space. But yeah, he was too strong. People were complaining that the of all the things, the Dark Gargoyle, there's so many crazy Nat 5s. Of all the things, they complained the Dark Gargoyle buff was too OP. Of course, Counter was like, no, we can't have this unit. We can't have this unit be too strong because people's whale defenses are not winning enough with this unit around. Okay, so all jokes aside, all poo-poo aside, yeah, that's just wild that is the one. That is the one nerf. Did we see other nerfs? I don't know. We'll go through the list. But that is the one, that is the nerf in this balance patch, is of all things the Dark Gargoyle. Fire Triss Firewall damage increased by approximately 8%. Of course, we gotta have the damage increased by 8% somewhere in this list. But it is nice to see the Witcher units. I didn't think that the Witcher units specifically were going to get buffed in here. I figured we were going to see some of the newer units, whether it was the Angel Babies or the Asuras or Indras or something along those lines getting buffed. But the Witcher units are already buffed because Come To Us is like, no, they're not strong enough. We need to sell more Witcher packs while we have the Witcher collab going on. So that's really the reason, right? Because they looked at the numbers, because we know that this just all revolves around money. So they must have looked at the numbers and said, these packs aren't selling enough. We need to make these units stronger so that people are really trying to get them. So buffs to, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different Witcher units. No, none of the Geralts. I had to pause before I was like, wait a second, how was I supposed to say that? Yeah, none of the Geralts, just Triss and Yennefer in this balance patch. They know they need to buff some of the other ones, so we'll maybe see that in the next balance patch, maybe see that a year from now, maybe see that 2 years from now. At some point they're gonna do it. Anyway, effect added, increase critical damage by 100% if you get a critical hit. So this is the one, it decreases enemy's attack gauge. She's an attack type unit if I recall correctly. It's an AoE decrease attack gauge of the entire enemy team. Brands, I think it's got a glance as well, and this is, I think it did decent damage, but I think this is actually pretty nice. Increases critical damage by 100% if you get a critical hit. That's a pretty huge, that's a pretty noticeable buff. So I'm excited to see what kind of teams. I think that would work really great actually with an Alicia team, and I did, like I said, I skimmed it. I saw Polar Queen Water. I'm like, wait a second, I gotta see what this is. Freeze chance 25 is now 35. But I think not a crazy buff. But she's already a really good unit. I'm surprised that she's even in this balance patch at all, because she's one of the best arena offense units in the game right now. So, I mean, in my humble opinion, but I feel very strongly that she's one of the best arena offense units in the game. So just because she does her stuns and then she does her freezes. I literally just read it. I literally just multi-hits. She does freezes. She gets an extra attack gauge, and then she comes in and she nukes everything down with her skill 2 damage based on speed, right? Enemy is damage based on enemy speed, if I recall correctly. But she's a great unit. And then the attack power leader skill. So I think that would be a great combination with the Fire Triss. This is exactly as playing into Comto's hands is. I'm like, wow, I wish I would summon the Fire Triss now, because that would be a great combo together. We have the Dark Triss Meteor Strike. This is the one that does ignore defense for the harmful effects granted on the enemy. So this ignores more defense now, which is nice. Base damage slightly reduced due to the balance adjustment. I'm sure it's going to be better either way because extra ignore defense is never a bad thing. Water Yennefer. Electric Orb stun chance is now 70%. Harmful effect removal chance is 70% as well. Water Yennefer was something that people are already using though. So again, Comto is just trying to sell more Witcher packs. They're like, we keep making these better. While the packs are still out, we will sell more packs. Fire Yennefer Magic Resonance passive spreads harmful effects granted on the attack target to a random enemy target with a 50% chance, now a 100% chance. So she's much more like Tomo than she was before. I'm trying to remember the rest of her skills specifically. I don't have it pulled up right now, but then we have but I mean she's like Tomo. If you like Tomo, then she's even more like Tomo now. Light Yennefer Magic Control passive. Now we have an extra effect when the enemy removes harmful effects. Beneficial effects granted on the target are removed together. Is this not what she already did? I had to reread the passive of this Light Yennefer because it was very confusing at first. And I think it's still, even if I try to explain it in a different way, it's going to be confusing regardless. But previously, it was if the enemy is cleansing harmful effects, the beneficial effects that they already have on them are going to be cleansed together at the same time. Now it kind of works a little bit more like Hey Gang. So we still have that part, but also her passive is going to activate when the enemy removes beneficial effects of an ally. So let's see, your team has buffs on them, immunity, etc. When the enemy strips those buffs, it is going to increase the attack bar of the ally with the highest attack bar on the team. So it's kind of working like Hey Gang does for the most part. I think that's the easiest way of explaining it. I can go into more depth, but I'm just going to get tongue-tied and it's going to be very confusing. So let's just move on from that. It's kind of like Hey Gang. It's more like Hey Gang now. It's the best way of explaining it. Dark Yennefer Static Shock. Decrease the attack speed for 1 turn is now silenced for 2 turns with a 70% chance. Dark Yennefer Static Shock. Hold on, guys. I have to read what this is. There's going to be breaks in the video every 5 seconds. So this is currently, it is a skill that stuns and decreases attack speed. Now it is going to stun and silence. I feel like the silence is kind of unnecessary if it already does an AoE stun. But that's just my opinion on that. Fire, it's not bad. The silence on top of the stun. If you already have the stun, well, things are probably not going to get stunned, right? If you have things that are immune to CC. So there's still value in that. You don't have to worry about the Fire Monkey skill 2, for example, if he's silenced for 2 turns. So next up we have the Fire Mage Chaos Magic Circle. I actually do like this. I think this is a great unit. I like to bring this into teams of Leo and Ragdoll and Raccoony and Riley, because you don't have to worry about proccing the Ragdoll's passive. If you just make it tanky, give it a lot of attack power, and you don't put crit rate, crit damage on it, then it's really nice against those specific teams. I feel like anyone that has Ragdoll and Leo loves to run Leo Ragdoll teams. So yeah, I like using it against those specifically. And then we have the Fire Baek and Desert Warrior. Funny that we have the fire one and not the wind one. Because, of course, Rampage, because that's the one that actually needs the buff. Oh, my goodness. Come to us. Removes all harmful effects granted on yourself and recovers HP by 40%. Is now removes all harmful effects granted on yourself and the ally with the lowest HP ratio, and then recovers the HP of both by 30%. It's a nice buff. Where's the wind one? They know the wind one sucks because it is the worst one in the game. It is the worst Nat 5 in the game. Where is that? It is nowhere. They're waiting for the 12th year anniversary to buff that unit, clearly. Okay, and then we have the Water Polar Queen, which we already mentioned. I think she's one of the best. Like, they just do, it's just random. It's just random now, because this is a great arena offense unit. I've even taken it into RTA, and it's actually not that bad. There's a certain point you hit where you're like, probably can't Alicia very much effectively anymore, but yeah, you could definitely cleave your way up to a certain rank with Alicia, and it works really well. You know what? Probably even further than that. I'd never tested how far we could go with it, but yeah, great unit. I really like Alicia. I think she's one of the better water Nat 5s in the game. And then we have, so she's even better now. Extra freeze chance. Fire Fairy King Hellfire. this is just 10% more damage for both you and the enemy that you're hitting. Just feels kind of random that he would be in here. Water M. Bison and Slayer. Effect added on his passive when attacked by the enemy with destroyed HP. Increases the chance of landing a glancing hit up to 30%. Only up to 30% in proportion to the enemy's destroyed HP. This is already an effective unit. As soon as they did that buff, I don't know how long it was, 9 months ago, a year ago, something like that. Maybe longer. I have no sense of time at all. But this is a unit that has been much more effective against tanky enemies for kind of like that static PvP. Like, it's not really for World Arena so much, especially because HP goes down over time anyway. But it's been very useful in inter-server arena, and it's been useful in some guild battles. So, extra glancing hit chance is nice. It's just kind of surprising. It's surprising that they added that, especially with the units that really need buffs. Let's continue. Devil Maiden Fire Bounds of Hell inflicts 1 continuous damage for 2 turns with each hit. Is now 2 continuous damage for 1 turn with each hit. Does it feel like they just needed filler for some of these? They're like, we didn't do enough. Let's put some more things in here. Well, let's not really make them too different. We want it to be mostly the same. That's, now that I'm thinking about it, that was supposed to be a joke. But this kind of feels like that's what they were doing. They're like, let's put things in here that take up space and have words, but don't really change the meta too much. Typical ComTOS. And then we have the Water and Dark Devil Maiden Mischievous Trap. Effect added grants threat effect to the ally target 2 times. This, I think, is actually a good buff. I think that this is I already like the Water Devil Maiden. I think that this is what it needed. I think this is great. I have nothing to complain about for that one. I think that's what that actually needed. Dark Devil Maiden, Bind Lord of Hell, Power of Destruction, decreases the defense of all enemies for 2 turns with 50% chance, is now decreases attack power and defense of all enemies for 2 turns with a 75% chance. If the enemy's defense is already decreased, decreases attack power for... Decreases its attack power for with a 50% chance, is now if the enemy's defense or attack power is already decreased, stuns the enemy for 1 turn with 50% chance. I honestly, it's been so long since I've seen the Dark Devil Maiden, I don't remember what she does. I'll be completely honest. I have not seen her since we did the one video on her. That's all I saw of her. And I already forgot because I don't remember anything at all. So, it seems like if I had the Dark Devil Maiden, I would be excited because, hey, extra stun. But, yeah, and extra stun and also extra decreased attack power. Not terrible, but again, it's been so long since I've even seen that unit. So Archangels, did we mention this in the things that we should that would be nice to see balance patches of, or didn't we already mention this in the video we previously did, just the last video, of units that would be nice to see in the balance patch? That's what I meant to say. That's what a person with a functional brain would say. So cooldown down to 4 turns, and now recovery amount is nerfed, because that's what we needed for the Archangel. So we did say, hey, it'd be nice to see some Archangel buffs. ComTOS decides, let's nerf them instead. Because oh my goodness. Actually, I mean, it does go down right after it's scaled up. It's just odd that it would be 35% now. Like, they could have just decreased the cooldown, and then that would have been the buff. But then they're like, nah, let's buff it and nerf it at the same time. This way, it's the same level, basically. So, yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so Water Freak, Elemental King passive effect added, increases your attack bar by 30% when you receive fatal attacks. If you put Nemesis on top of that, so much attack bar, right? Because you could already do Nemesis. It's already not a bad rune set for him. They keep buffing Theomars. They really do. Yeah, I might use Theomars more now, to be honest. Then we have a free Wind Mock Crush effect added, disturbs HP recovery for 2 turns. Why is that what he needed? What I'm not trying. Why is that what he needed? Why? When you look at the Winterfree, you're like, man, what could we do to make this a really great unit? I know. Let's put a random debuff. Disturb HP recovery. Why that one? It's just, they rolled the dice. They had a 20-sided die. They have all the debuffs on it. Tell me that's not what it is. It's got all the debuffs, and they're like, oh, let's do heal block. Sure, that's what it's gonna be. All right, then we have the Paladin's Prayer of Protection effect added grants invincibility for 2 turns if the allied target has no harmful effects to be removed. That is the skill 2. So extra invincibility, right? Because it's only 1 turn right now, if I recall correctly. Then we have the Fire Chimera Collapse. Counterattacks the target with Collapse with a 40% chance now if you receive an attack while this skill is on cooldown. Sometimes it feels like it's 100% chance. I don't know. That's how RNG works. It feels like that's how RNG works. I'm sure it is 30%, but it feels like that. So we have all of the Indras now that have the same buff. The Thunder Estate decreases the cooldown of all the Thunderers by 2 turns when you are not under the Thunder Estate. We're going to have to test this out. Honestly, I have not really been using any of the Indras lately, aside from the Wind one. Obviously, we did a video on the Wind Indra the other day. I really don't think we did it justice because we just use it as a damage dealer, and I feel like we can do so much more with it. So next, well, we have Special League now, so maybe we'll do some in Special League with that. The one that I have used that has been the most effective was the one that I did not think was going to be the most effective. The water one, I feel, is the best one. After actually using it in battles, I'm like, this is usable. I can legitimately pick this in matches and not feel like it's a gimmick thing for a YouTube video. The other ones, like the fire, we played with the fire though as when we first got him, when he first came out, I think, or whenever we got him. Probably wasn't when it first came out, but we played with the fire one. The water one we got after that, I believe, and he was the better one. He was the one that was more useful. So, because he's like a water AoE, isn't he like a water AoE provoke Tyrannus? Kinda, because he does the revive, and he was a solid unit. He was a solid unit. Water Twin Angels. Oh, Fire Twin Angels are in here. Good. Maybe good. I don't know. Let's see what they have. Water Twin Angels. Focus shot. Disturbs HP recovery for 2 turns. Now decrease defense for 2 turns with a 30% chance. And they got the speed lead too. So that is defense. Well, it's a 30% chance, so it's really low. But still, if it was higher, it'd be pretty nice. But I can't rely on a 30% defense break. Fire Twin Angels, Horn of Festival, effect add increase your attack power for 1. What is the Horn of Festival? I can't remember all of the names of these skills. I used to be able to, but now I'm trying to remember so much, and I'm getting older, and I'm getting dumber. I'm shocked too. I thought I was already as dumb as I possibly could be. Horn of Festival is decreases all allies' skill cooldown time by 1 turn each. Now it is decrease skill cooldown and also increase your attack power for 1 turn. Not everyone's attack power, just your attack power. That's not enough. Horn of Cheer removes 1 harmful effect of all allies and now grants immunity on all allies for 1 turn for all the Twin Angels. That's not what the Fire Twin Angels need. Honestly, I feel like the Fire Twin Angels needed more. It's hard. Something like the Fire Twin Angels, or the Twin Angels in general, because they have so much flexibility that a little bit too much could go overboard. So I understand us being cautious on these ones, right? Water Cannon Girl. Fatal Extinctive Bullet. Attack bar reduction is now 100% instead of 70. She was already a great unit. That's one of my favorite 4-stars. Even better now. She's a great unit in Abyss Dragons B12. So yeah, no complaints. We have fire. We actually have a Wind and Light Cannon. We have all the Cannon Girl buffs. This is great. They actually needed buffs, but not the water one, because water one is great. Dark one is great. The other ones, I feel needed some stuff. Okay, so now destroy enemy target's max HP by 50% of the damage dealt from the second attack is now increase the damage by 25% for each beneficial effect or harmful effect applied to the enemy from the second attack for the Fire Cannon Girl. What is the current Fire Cannon Girl skill? So attacks the enemy with a cannon gun, weakens the defense, and leaves a branding effect for 2 turns with a 90% chance each. Goes up to a 100% chance. Afterwards, inflicts damage on all enemies, destroys their max HP. So now it is defense and brand. And then on top of that, we are going to increase damage by 25% for every beneficial effect or harmful effect applied to the enemy from the second attack. Why does it say by every beneficial effect applied from the second attack? What beneficial effects are being applied to the enemy during the second attack? That's odd. That's odd wording. Yeah, that's odd wording. I don't know if that's going to change. That just seems odd. Light Cannon Girl, Fatal Armor Bullet. Stun chance is now 50% chance. So this is... It was 30%. It went up to 40 after skill ups. Now it's 50, going up to 60. It's absorb attack bar by 100%, and then stuns, AoE stun. I feel like that one's... I mean, she was such a low activation rate. Now it's at least better. So... and then we have Wind, Rolling Cannon, grants Oblivion for 2 turns. The enemy target is now decreased defense for 1 turn, and grants Oblivion for 1 turn to the enemy target. You couldn't just put extra defense break? You had to nerf it and buff it at the same time. I suppose it's fine, you know. Defense break and then Oblivion. That should be nice. Fire Poison Master. Wait a sec. I don't get excited. It's not going to be good. Don't get excited, because they're going to buff it and nerf it at the same time, just like what we've been seeing for the rest of these. They're buffing and nerfing together. So we have continuous damage for 1 turn is now 2 turns. For the Yoga Sunsa... Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I was wrong. They're not buffing and nerfing. They're just... Yeah. Where's the Yoga Sansara? That is the skill 3. Well, that's not what he needed, but yeah, they buffed him. They sure did. So we have the Puree's Air Slash instead of... Effect added inflicts continuous damage for 1 turn is now recovers HP by 50% of the damage dealt to the enemy. And they do have extra benefits when they have full HP, so that is kind of nice. And they're taking away the continuous damage, which, you know, there's a lot of Abyss dungeons that they're being used for. So continuous damage doesn't have too much value in those. Increased attack bar by 100% when you use a full HP is now increase the attack bar by 100% when your HP is full after attacking. Which is going to kind of suck if she gets revenged, and then she doesn't, and then she doesn't increase the attack bar. Because she got revenged, she took some damage. So Wind, Puree, Spinning Slash, depletes the enemy's attack bar when you use the full HP, is now absorb all of the enemy's attack bar when you use the full HP. Okay, that's kind of nice. I wonder how that changes. See, now some of these things change our speedruns. If we're looking at that, and also that Dark Puree, Dark Force, oh, cooldown decreased. These are going to change our speedruns. It seems like it's going to do for the better, but you never know. Well, I don't know if everyone's using Purees in their speedruns, but yeah. And then we have the Light Rapid Fire creates a shield by 50%. I kind of skipped around. I went to the dark one and then didn't read the light one. Effect added creates a shield by 50% of damage dealt to yourself for 2 turns after attacking. And also, always attacks with a critical hit with the enemies under an ability effect is now increase your attack bar by 10% whenever you land a critical hit. Could be a nasty unit for siege. I thought this at the beginning. I was like, oh, this could be a great unit for siege defense. Then I tried her in siege defense. I tried to make her work, and I tried to make her work, and I tried to make her work, and I'm like, she's not good. I'm not going to use her anymore. This is not working. So, yeah. The dark one, decreased cooldowns. That's interesting. Yeah, some of these could help with speedruns, but we'll see. We'll test it out. But they should make speedruns. Maybe that's why they buffed them, to make speedruns more effective. I forgot that it was calm to us. That's probably not why they buffed it. They probably just buffed it because it's random. All right. Well, was this on the list? I'm kind of curious if this was on the list. I'm not going to go through and try to find the list again that we just looked at yesterday. Water Neostone Agent, sorry. Medical support creates a shield equivalent to half the excessive heal. It is now a shield equivalent to the excessive heal. Just a little bit of a buff. Neostone Agent Fire Attack Command decreases cooldown of attack command by 1 turn if there are no harmful effects to remove from allies. So if you're using her on Swift for turn 1, decreases the cooldown so you can use it again faster. Interesting. I mean, that's for a niche group of people that are like, let me take the Fire Neostone Agent into RTA and have a sneaky cleave team. Don't they use that with Tishar, if I recall correctly? I think that might be like a Tishar Inugami crazy cleave. So, yeah, not too many people actually using that, but Windowstone grants immunity on all allies for 1 turn. That's kind of nice. Would have been nice to have that, I don't know, like 5 years ago, but it is what it is. Light Mage, leader skill modified. The resistance of ally monsters increased by 55% in guild content, which is basically a nothing leader skill. Is now attack speed of ally monsters increased by 24%. So I know we complained about the Light Mage a while ago when she first came out. We're like, oh, she doesn't do enough damage, and then she got buffed, and then she did more damage. Now it's just more value. The attack speed leader skill is just going to make anything more valuable. So that is, I'm sure, I would like to think that Light Mage owners are very excited about that, because now it gives them easier cleave teams, so they don't have to pick and choose a couple other non-damage dealing leader skills for the speed leads. So that is kind of nice. And we have the Dark Mage as well. The defensive ally monsters in guild content is now defensive ally monsters increased by 33% everywhere. And we have Light Twin Angels. No, I mean, it's not as beneficial as the Light Mage. Speed lead everywhere. That's worth noting, right? That makes any unit, ask Oliver, that makes any unit way more effective. We have Light Twin Angels, Awakening Effect modified, increases critical rate by 15%, is now accuracy by 25%. And then we have some skill errors fixed. How do we feel about this balance patch? It's about, like, I know people are complaining. They're like, this is the worst balance patch ever. You guys say that about every balance patch. If you go into it thinking it's going to be just reading words for 30 minutes and not really have any value, then that's pretty accurate. No, then maybe there's a couple things that are like a silver lining, I suppose. I think the Fire Triss is I think the Witcher units actually got the most value here. Witcher units, Water Devil, well, the Water and Dark Devil Maidens. What else? I'm not bummed about the Fire Mage. I gotta say, I'm not bummed about the Fire Mage. Indras, we'll see the Indras, right? Because I feel like they had fine access to it before. So, yeah. The Yennefers, the Trisses, the Devil Maidens, Cannon Girls, and then some of the units for speed teams. Really not that much, not that crazy. Didn't shake up the meta, didn't do much of anything. It's the usual Summoner's War balance patch. We'll be back to crying about things needing buffs 5 minutes from now. 5 minutes after the end of the video. Anyway, that's it for this one. We'll play around with these. I'm smidgen excited about a few of these, especially this. I think the Purees are going to be maybe faster speed runs, maybe more effective speed runs, but we'll see. Or it could be worse. It could completely mess everything up, but you never know. Anyway, that's it for the, well, we will find out. That's what it is. We will find out. Anyway, that's it for this one. See you as always in the next one.